I don't think I am ever going to understand this lesson planning stuff.
It can be that difficult. Teachers make plans for their classroom every day. A concept map might help us. What do you think a lesson plan has in it?
The day, the grade level, the subject, the length of the lesson, I would think.
What about learning expectations from the curriculum?
Of course. Both overall and specific expectations. I would probably add instructional objectives. Like at the end of this lesson, a student should be able to do this.
That is the great thing about a lesson plan. Each plan can be tailored to the lesson, subject, or teacher's needs.
What about assessment and evaluation? Don't we need to know if the student learned the lesson?
Yes. You are starting to get it. What else would a substitute teacher need to know if they had to teach your class for a day?
The teacher should know about my students. What my students need to be successful. What section might that go under?
How about pre-assessment?
Yes, pre-assessment is important. This is where I talk about the social, physical, academic, and developmental needs of the student. But it isn't where I put the accommodations and modifications of the material.
So accommodations and modifications is a separate section that holds the modified material and tells the user how the material has been modified. The pre-assessment section talks about why I would need modified or accommodated material.
Doesn't pre-assessment also include the materials or resources and classroom setup needed for this lesson? I would want everything together to stay organized.
That's correct. What else would you need to include in your plan?
I might want to include new terminology that a student would be encountering.
Okay. I was thinking more about the lesson itself, but that works.
Well, I would like to have notes about how the lesson worked with the class. A reflection at the end of the lesson that would have information on whether the lesson and the teacher was effective, and if they were not, what might be changed in the lesson to make it better.
What else?
There could be an application or extension to the lesson.
Okay, you're getting ahead of yourself. What about the motivator or the hook?
Yes, that is important to include with the instructional strategies or lesson sequence. As the introduction. I think the introduction and conclusion is important to any lesson.
The sequence would show the instructional strategy, guiding questions, time allotted for each strategy, and the steps it would take to finish the section.
This sounds like it should be the longest section.
All sections should be detailed so someone else can come in and do this lesson if you are not available.
Wow. I guess I knew more about lesson planning than I thought. Now it is time to put the sections in order.
Let's review.
A lesson plan has the subject, grade level, topic, date, length of the lesson.
The learning expectations and outcomes from the curriculum with learning objectives for the class.
Assessment. How will I know the students have learned the lesson?
Pre-assessment of the classroom, which includes student information, learning environment, and materials and resources.
The learning sequence, which includes the introduction, which is the motivator, body of the lesson with guiding questions, students and teachers' roles, the conclusion, and a timeline.
Accommodations have a copy of the modified material and tells how it has been modified.
The application.
And the lesson extension.
Reflection on the effectiveness of the lesson, the teacher, and how it could be better is the last section.
And you thought you would not understand lesson planning process.
The lesson planning process makes a lot more sense now. Thank you for all your help.
It was nothing.